The Dark Knight Returns and The Dark Knight Strikes Again are known for their one-of-a-kind artwork, and The Dark Knight 3 is no different. We've got an inside look at what to expect from the upcoming modern masterpiece. Everyone's super excited about this new comic that's coming out. Let's get into Dark Knight 3.
Yeah.
Who's doing the interior artwork on this one?
It is Andy Kubert. And we chose Andy because A, he's a veteran, he's a solid professional, but we wanted someone that could really handle the storytelling that Frank Miller's really renowned for. If you read Dark Knight Returns, Dark Knight Strikes Again, he almost creates this lyrical beat. Like the way he uses panels, he basically builds them up. In Dark Knight Returns, you see lots of little panels and then boom, you get the splash page. So we wanted someone that was very conscious, really good at storytelling, could use those panels to kind of almost create a bigger mosaic, a bigger image of art through the panels itself. Andy's really great at doing very high contrast, shadowy work, which is always perfect for Batman. And then he just has a real bold energy to his line and his figure work. Again, when you're talking about a story that involves Batman and Superman and Robin, you want someone that can bring the goods, and Andy has it.
And how did that conversation, or how did he end up getting involved? Did someone call him up? Did he hear about the project?
No,
and he was like, hey.
Yeah, I think it was like a lot of people kind of threw their names, into the ring, as you would imagine. So many of us creators, this was the book that kind of defined our fandom, inspired us to become comic book professionals. Same with Andy. Getting the chance to work with Frank is a once-in-a-lifetime kind of thing, and he's done so many great projects for us before, like Flashpoint. It's like, yes, he deserved this shot. And it's astounding. It's amazing artwork. I'll show you some of it here. So this is the first issue. What's really great about what he's done, like I said, is that he's really created a tempo. So if you look at the panels, the sizing of the panels, the shots, it's very filmic, so it feels like it's kind of a movie that's kind of unfolding in front of you, which is, again, what Frank is great at. And he also brings a lot of great shadows. He's actually dialed back a little bit of the detail that he normally puts in with the cross-hatching and stuff. He wanted to do something very bold and in your face, so it's really solid shapes, bold shadows, and really just very strong storytelling told through these smaller panels.
What do you feel like, obviously Andy has a very specific art style that he does, but now working with Frank, what are some of the influences you think that he took on
definitely Frank. In fact, when he started, Andy and I talked over dinner, and it was intimidating also for him too.
Yeah.
It is. It's just, when I worked on All-Star Batman Robin, same thing, because you know how Frank would have drawn the image that you're reading about in the script, but you have to abandon that because you have to do your own thing. But at the same time, he wanted to be influenced by the storytelling elements that you saw in Dark Knight Returns, and he just kind of made it his own. So, look at this amazing image of Wonder Woman here. Klaus Janson inking him. It's a nice closing of the circle. Klaus was the original inker on Dark Knight Returns. Andy's kind of coming into this project trying to bring the two books together, a synthesis of the two. And so I think he does a great job of basically giving the readers what they want out of Dark Knight Returns, using the bold imagery from Dark Knight Strikes Again, and it's just super results.
And then just talking about the artwork a little bit more, were there any pages that came into you that you were like, holy crap, this is mind-blowing for you?
Well, you know what the funny thing is? It's not necessarily the splash pages and stuff, which is what people traditionally point to. There's a sequence that he did. Let me see if I can find it. So these, the police are kind of coming in and they're attacking. And again, just the angles, the silhouettes, the shape of the panels, it kind of creates this rhythm, this beat, and it creates a narrative above and beyond the actual images that you're looking at.
Are there any characters that you can talk about that you're excited for fans to read about?
So this was an idea of Frank. He wanted to have a mini comic bound within the actual comic book itself. And then that mini comic has a story that kind of runs parallel to the main story, and it's not even entirely clear which order you read it. Do you read the mini comic first? Do you read it kind of every other page? But I think that's the fun of it. He wants to really bring back that sense of excitement and wonder that you get when you open up a comic book.
And you don't know what to expect.
Exactly. He's so big on that. And so we're actually looking at doing other kind of cool things within each issue to kind of hit that note. So this is the cover for the mini comic. This is done by Frank Miller. He's drawing the actual mini comic itself. And if you look at it, it's a wraparound cover. And he's picking up visually where he left off with Dark Knight Strikes Again, the huge hands, the big feet, and he's really just kind of distilled down what it means to be a superhero, and almost kind of pointing out how absurd or whimsical they can be. I mean, if you really think about it, a guy in blue and red tights that can fly, and then a little character that, you know, the Atom that can shrink down and can jump into a phone line and travel. I think he just really kind of plays up on that absurdity and that kind of over-the-top bombastic like reality that is created in these comic books, and leans into it big time. So it's really cool to see him back at the drawing board.
Obviously, I mean, just talking about this when it came out, you know it's going to be an instant classic for comic book readers.
Yeah.
Is there any chance that there'll be some more DC Frank Miller work together in the future?
Yes, we would love that. I mean, that would be huge. I mean, he's back at the drawing board, like I said. He wants to do a lot of stuff. I mean, comics is his passion, and he's got other ideas for other projects, so stay tuned, as they say.
The first issue of Dark Knight 3 comes out in November, but today you can pick up the premiere issue of DC's new weekly series, Batman and Robin Eternal.
I've read it. It's quite awesome. So also, don't forget to click subscribe, because tomorrow we're going to take you inside the costumes of Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice.